Alright, it appears to be time for an inmendham video. See, lots of stuff to do. Anyway, it's a weird world, you know that? I don't know whether you really noticed it, but everything is getting so fucking weird. And the battle lines are just so blurry between on these subjects, and the hypocrisies and duplicities of compassionate conservatism. You know, this, you know, all these liberals voting for kooks, and talking, you know, siding with religious kooks and shit. You know, with their be a man thing, be a man for God or something. I don't know. It's just such crap. It's just, but anyway. So, I mean, I suggested in the last video that I personally like the idea of more pronouns, more descriptors of who people are and what they're about. So you can rationally discriminate. Rationally know that there's people worth saving if they're going to fall into traffic, and people who just, you know, go ahead, fall in, because you're a useless cunt. That's not discrimination, that's being reasonable and rational. Unconditional love is idiotic. Unconditional like is idiotic. Unconditional caring is idiotic. It should all be conditional. And by reasons, good reasons. Now, the fact that somebody's gay isn't a good reason. The fact that somebody doesn't want to be a man or a woman isn't a good reason. And I think I've made that clear over the years. And then little Weasley people like this, just another YouTuber 3. So I probably had to block 1 and 2. 0. Let's see. Oh, this is the wrong comment. Well, let's see what this one is. There are millions of videos where he claims absolutely. Maybe they see he's not in attack mode, so they being less cautious. Okay, so that's more on the attack crap. This is the one. You want a guy who touches heinies to have pronouns so you can discriminate against him? Question mark? No. I'm saying that if people want to voluntarily describe themselves, I think that's great. Okay? And I am saying that I think it'd be great if we do have some kind of accountability, mandatory even, labels, that are rational. They're honest, and that are relevant to the 21st century. And in the 21st century, playing Mr. and Mrs., homie don't do that. A lot of homies don't do that. I, as a, generally speaking, by all statistical accounts, who is male, I don't want to do that. Because frankly, I think most men are such douchebags. I'm ashamed of my race, so to speak, my gender. They're disgusting pieces of crap. Most men just ain't worth the trouble. Most men I wouldn't save from traffic because they're just bubbas looking for their next hamburger. You know. So anyway, yes, discrimination is good when it's reasoned, when it's based on some God says so, or my personal sensibilities say, yeah, well, that's bullshit. When it's just based on some emotional problem you have. Fuck that shit. So, speaking of people with emotional problems, the cuckers. These people, I will defy your statement that you don't wish to fit into one of my traditional pigeonholes. I have a right to shove you into my traditional pigeonholes because I always had that right, and I'm going to keep that right because that's who I am. And it's just a pile of crap. So this is some sort of professor, doctor of what? Foot rubbing. I mean, bullshit, doctor. Bullshit. He doesn't know fuck about biology, and he certainly doesn't know what a brain is. So he doesn't know how to use one right. But this is just so strange because these people are so pussy, you know, and yet they're calling other people like faggoty names, cookie and stuff. And they're so fucking short-dicked. It's amazing what goes on in the world. You know, in terms of the whacked psychology of these hypocrites, liars, and bullshitters. and why anybody, I don't know how the fuck this idiot has gotten any notoriety at all, but I guess it's the same reason why Trump's president. Newsflash. Because you're idiots.
The sacrifice of the mother is exemplified profoundly by Michelangelo's great sculpture, the Pieta.
So anyway, the sacrifice of the mother. So he's dead. She's got a big roby clothes. She got lots of clothes. Her sacrifice. She got raped by God. And where's the father in this whole stupid... So if we're going to use these silly, stupid religious narratives as example of something, they should at least, like... oh yes, and Father Joseph, who is this real honorable guy just trying to save her dignity from, not being, mocked as a bitch who's going to have a bastard. Where's he in all this crap anyway? What the fuck happened to him? What, he kept making cabinets or something? He's surrogate father to the Son of God, and he just keeps making cabinets? He doesn't have any better agenda? But anyway, so he's going to have this whole interpretation of this sculpture, which is just the death scene. Jesus been taken down off the cross. Mary's going to clean him up for burial, blah, blah, blah. And this whole story is added to this about motives and intentions and thoughts. And it's just such a pile of crap. It's her fault. He puts that in there for what reason? Is that really what it's saying? It's my fault? I don't think that's what Michelangelo was thinking when he carved the damn thing. Pile of crap. It's just about Mary's devotion.
Mary is contemplating her son crucified and ruined, so that's his body after he's been crucified. It's her fault. It was through her he entered the great drama.
Yes, that is the truth about most people's birth, but clearly in that case of her, how the fuck could it be her fault? I mean, if God decides to rape you, exactly how do you stop him? I mean... How is it her fault? So you're now victim blaming and victim shaming again by somehow implying that somehow Mary had something to do with it. Like she chose to be the chosen one. I don't think she did. She didn't go to I'll be the chosen one school. I mean, I know there was a lot of immaculate conceptions in the Bible, so maybe there was an immaculate conception university somewhere. I mean, most people don't know that, but there are other immaculate conceptions. God did fuck around a bit. He wasn't monogamous. Why do this? Why do you assholes sit there and why is anybody having a conversation about silly religious fables? Silly, stupid, dumb stories. The stupid Savior didn't save shit. He didn't even forgive Eve's sins. Why didn't he say something on the cross? Hey, Eve, I'm finally going to forgive you. And now women won't have all that messy period and pain and shit. Did he do that? No.
So what's the meaning of this sculpture? It's a great sculpture.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. What's the meaning of this sculpture? It's a mother holding her dead son, yet it has lots of meanings to lots of people. Who the fuck are you to tell me what it means, douche?
Absolutely unbelievable sculpture. You just can't believe it.
Oh, I believe it. You can't do that. You blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is just so subjective, you creepy crud. I mean, he's a doctor of psychology and philosophy of some kind, and he doesn't know that that's just subjective bullshit? I mean, if you want to talk about art pieces, you could pick anything that the stupid Michelangelo touched just about, and it's a bit of a brilliant piece of rendering. He was a great renderer. Ooh.
That someone could exist who could make something like, and of course it wasn't the only thing Michelangelo made.
Yeah, it really wasn't. But I look, if you want me to critique it, I mean, Mary's a little. Jesus was what 4'7"? She's about 10 feet tall, for fuck's sake. She weighs like 300 pounds. He weighs like 78. I mean, you know, by proportions, it's more like a Van Gogh. I mean, it's a little bit abstracted.
That's it. It was something he just tossed off in a couple months while he was doing other unbelievable things. But you know,
No, it's not really unbelievable. I can believe it. It's believable.
it's an object of contemplation, which is why it's in a great cathedral in a great city.
Yeah, a contemplation about 4 million different things. Like, wow, that's a big Mary. Man, Mary was a big woman, motherfucker. And she wore a lot of clothes, for fuck's sake. You could give all those naked people. Jesus said, well, fuck having clothes. I mean, you know, do the birds have clothes? Well, Mary sure as fuck had a lot of them.
It's an object of contemplation. And the idea is something like...
Yeah, the idea is something like religion is stupid. Grow up, motherfucker. You got brain cuckery. What are you sucking on the tit of a stupid fable for, you creepy person?
Well, what's the role of a mother? If she's awake.
If she's awake, be awake. Okay, if you insist. For what? The really bad movie of let's bastardize silly fables into a new silly fable. And we'll just take the stupid god out of the story, you know, the poofing god, and we'll just make it a human drama instead. Amazing.
I had a client come see me a while back.
A client. I do. I like to see these clients. I like to see these survivors. The survivors of the encounter with, you know, the mega cuck.
Not very long ago.
Not very long ago.
He was about 30.
5'4", and had a big giant mother.
Trying to make decisions about her life.
I have to drink some water because, you know, every 15 seconds I need water.
She was pretty
God made me that way.
So I asked her about, although maybe having a bit of...
Oh, what is this? Who can watch this drivel? You can't even tell a story without doing it like a pussy. Who do you think you're talking to? Fucking nursery school? You know, catechism or something? What is this?
Seen this many times. So this is an amalgam.
Drama.
This is a story that's an amalgam.
Oh, amalgam of many stories. I'm really just making this part up. I mean, she was, and then she's going to turn into like a wildebeest, and for a little bit, and then she was going to morph into no, fuck you. And then the 3 bears showed up.
And I talked to her about the other elements of her life. It's like, well, you know, there's only 5 things you do in life. So you've got your career down. You know, what do you do outside of your career that's meaningful and engaging? How are things going with your family? Could be.
Well, so all this stuff. So again, just this notion of traditionalism. Just you know, they're carrying these banners of traditionalism, and then they walk around calling somebody a cuck when they're owned by it. They're slaves to these traditional notions of what it is to be alive and what we're supposed to do here and how we're supposed to think and what we're supposed to feel. You know, we're supposed to do it in this little fucking potato farmer box. That's what this fucker would have you back doing. Being so distracted by the fact that, oh, the bugs are eating all my damn potatoes. I'm going to starve in the winter. Yeah, have you distracted by these mundane, silly survival needs so you don't have any time to be a thinker or a Michelangelo. To sit there and, you know, expend your life doing something, you know, not mechanically or structurally useful.
Your family of origin, your siblings, whatever. If you have an intimate relationship.
Oh, you have this, you blah, 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 blah.
And, like, what's your plan for your own family? And apart from those 5 things, there's sort of...
So, this whole statement of what my life should be. Oh, yes, am I a slave to a job? Am I a slave to a wife? Am I a slave to kids? Am I a slave to my family? You know... Just it's all about being a slave, and these idiots call other people cucks.
Something like, get some exercise now and then, don't eat too badly, and try to stay away from the drugs, you know. That kind of, and the crime.
So anyway, there's another irony or hypocrisy, right? Because I'm sure lots of these people talking about don't be a cuck are probably alkies and potheads.
That kind of lays out life, and if you miss any of those 5 things, or if you...
Yeah, you know, it's like the hypocrisy of the Trump being essentially a vegetarian and an atheist, and he just pretends, you know, he just lies about stuff. He'll sell hamburgers.
Do any of those other things wrong, then you're in trouble, and you can get away with missing a couple of them, but not all of them. You know, and she said something...
Oh, geez, not all of them. Like, which one could I miss out on? What slavery could I do without? Yeah, no, I can do without everything you think is important. Really. This, I mean, really, okay, so we're still, here it is, 2017, and you people are still so stupid that you think your family should be treated better than the rest of the world. That people in the world aren't more in line with who you are than your family necessarily is. That there isn't some sort of reason for any extra devotion except for bad reasons, which are familiarity. That's it. You have more relationship to them, and so therefore you should care about them more. Just because you've seen them more or you've smelled more of their farts, therefore you should care more. That's what you think of as logic or reasoning or sensible. And you'll go to your doctor of cuck stupidity to find out that's what you should be living for, is the false relationships in your life, the silly addictions. Shit. Yeah, get off the chemical drugs and get onto the stupid fable drug. Yuck.
Along the lines of, well, I'm not sure I should bring a child into this world. And I thought, oh, God, Christ, you got to come up with something better than that.
Oh, yeah, right. Don't be rational. Don't look at it and say, well, do I really want to impose death on my child? Because that's automatic. And then it could be horrible death, and then it could be, you know, suicidal torment and awfulness and blah, blah, blah. Or it could be shot in a stupid war, or it could be killed by a terrorist, or it could be lots of things. Ebola or something. I should sign somebody up for that? Oh, that's not a reasonable question. Don't do that. That's the most horrible thing you can do, is apply any kind of reasoning to life. Just do what I say. Do what tradition says. Be a good traditionalist. Just march in our silly traditionalist pride parade. We're the traditionalists. We don't think. We just, you know, stay on our little narrow path like the horse who's been cucked with the blinders. We're little cucked horses. You fucking pussy. You know, why don't you take a real look at reality, douchey bag? Dr. Douchey Bag.
Which is what I told her. I said, you know, you must have thought that up when you were 16. It's like...
Oh, right. So it's immature thinking to think about risk and reward and to weigh cost to benefits. Now, traditionally, I mean, newsflash, Mr. Traditionalist, traditionally, that kind of higher thinking, you know, to be able to evaluate that, no, when you're a kid you think it's going to be all great, but it really isn't. The whole Christmas surprise kind of thing, that's something kids fall for, and adults grow out of that notion that, oh yeah, if I get my shiny new microwave oven, everything will be all right. No, everything won't be all right.
Really? That's your... You can't do any better. This was a very, very smart woman. It's like, really, you can't do any better than that?
Oh, right. That's what you said? No, that's not what you said. But again, so he's saying somebody who is risk averse, who recognizes there's risks and implications to actions, and that the rewards of some, oh, I'm going to have the perfect, I'm going to have Jesus. You know, that expectation might be unrealistic. And that you should measure the fact that what's really happening in the world. What do you see that's happening to the thing you want to create? How are the Frankensteins being treated? What's happening to them? And you want that to be the fate of your little monster?
It's like, yes, obviously this is a vale of tears and, you know, a well of suffering and all of that. You know, if you ask 30 people who are wondering about having children,
trivializing suffering, it's just, you know, from the people who weren't the lepers. So again, it's like Jesus' sacrifice. What at worst, he spent a week on a cross, at worst, right? And, you know, by some accounts, that would be impossible. But anyway, at worst, a week of horrible suffering. And yet, the lepers, he didn't have leprosy. Fuck the lepers. They're meaningless. They never suffered. They never, you know, their sacrifice is nothing. Jesus' sacrifice is everything. You know, what a pile of co-rap.
why they're wondering, 20 of them will say that, and so that tells you how original it is. It's not original at all. It's not a thought. It's like this little, it's a meme. It's something that lives.
No, you're the one living on memes, traditional silly notions that it makes sense somehow to impose life, okay, when you, to create an experiment over which you have absolutely zero rational expectation of control. That there are all kinds of short straws in the haystack that you're going to be plucking out of. And you're going to place them in that victim's pocket.
It's in your mind. It's not a thought. And it's certainly not something that you should just take at face value and then say, oh, well, I'm not having a family then. It's like, no. You kind of look at that and you criticize it a little bit. It's like, well,
criticize what a little bit? Like I said, the only thing that could be criticized is first the motivation for having children, because it's all bullshit psychology. It's all ego and vanity. It's all selfish crap. Nobody actually has kids saying, I am going to create Jesus and he's going to fix the world. Nobody does that. What do they make? What do they make out of their kids? Professional golfers or something. Right? They'll make a Tiger Woods. They'll be devoted to the purpose of making an Olympic champion. Somebody who does something completely useless. Nobody engineers their kid to cure cancer. Because they're just selfish cucks. Little special snowflakes. And they can't get over the idea that, oh, what? There's not going to be any special snowflakes that have half of my special snowflakery in them? Ah, or my special racial snowflakiness? Ah, you people are pussies.
oh, it's the other one. That's the other one that's very common. There's too many people on the planet already. It's
Ha ha! You hear the audience laughing. Well, right, on the brink of global warming, and most of the human population is uneducated and living on a dirt floor. And they laugh at the idea of too many people. Fuck. I mean, there really has to be, you know, I mean, everything really should be point counterpoint. It's like nobody should be able to, like even this video, nobody should be able to make a point without the other side making their point. Because what's the counter argument to the accusation that this douchebag is just a traditional douche? That he's just talking religion. Role-playing in the most disgusting way. I mean, and they're pissed off at other people who are saying, I don't want to play man-woman roles.
I really don't like that statement.
No, I don't like it.
Just who are you going to ask to leave? Just how are you going to get them to leave? You know?
It's not about people leaving, idiot. I guess you don't understand. You really don't. Doctor who doesn't understand. You don't understand anything about biology, do you? No one has to leave for you to have less kids. Japan has no more increase in their population. Lots of places have no increase in their population. And it's just from importing people from the stupid countries, the ones you would like, the ones you don't live in though, where people just recklessly reproduce. So what? Your argument is so stupid. You're such a stupid fucking man. Stupid as fuck. You don't know the difference between killing people and not having a baby? You stupid fuck.
Serious question. And who says there's too many people? What the hell?
Logic. The facts. Yeah, the facts say so. The facts say that we're obviously polluting the fuck out of the planet in both ways. Too much carbon and too many toxins and lots of heavy metals brought to the surface. And the quality of life on the planet, because we don't have a sustainable, controllable system, we have reckless chaos, means that most people aren't living any kind of good life. It's a drudgery, a slavery to your stupid traditions. It's just feeding humans to the lions for your entertainment, apparently.
What's wrong with people anyways? Or running around ruining the planet. Yeah. It's like, I think it was the Club of Rome who prophesied, by the way, that there would be so many people on the planet by the year 2000 that there would be widespread starvation. And they were completely and utterly wrong about that. And I think
so, utterly wrong. The only way there's not worldwide starvation is the fact that we subsidize farmers to make a profit to create UN food to feed to them. So let's count how many millions of people on this planet right now are dependent on UN food. And let's talk about the people who have starved because of our sanctions. You know, our politics. But again, to just pretend that the deprivation, that the incredibly meager existences that people are existing in, whether they actually starve to death or whether they do it really slowly, have a 40-year life expectancy in 2017. That's a deprivation, newsflash, and it's significant, and you're mocking it. In your privileged $500 suit or whatever, you're mocking their suffering. You fucking piece of shit.
Club of Rome, who either compared us to a virus or a cancer on the face of the planet. It's like, oh, really? That's what you think about people, eh? Aren't you something?
Yes, in less than 150 years. Just look what we've done in less than 150 years. And if you can't see all the unsustainable trend lines, the national debt, all kinds of lines that are going in a direction that's not possible to keep going because you end up at an infinity. Okay? It's not sustainable. Your traditions are not sustainable, retard.
Isn't that something to think about human beings? Viruses and cancer. What do you do with viruses and cancer? Invite them in and make them at home. It's like, no, you try to eradicate them. You gotta bloody well watch your metaphors.
Oh, you bloody well better. Well, no, I'm not going to. You know what? I'm going to stand up to cucks like you and call you what you are. A douchebag. A stupid, ignorant, traditionalist, religious cuck. A slave to dumb, stupid traditions because you can't step out of the box. You're afraid. The box. I don't want to leave my box. You're a pussy. A screaming, flaming, panty-wearing pussy.
Because it isn't clear that you come up with them or that they run you. So you better watch them.
They run you. You come up with them or they run you. And you're the guy, again, sitting there completely owned by your little box of tradition. And you gotta take another drink of water. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. And he's gotta get some more water. He's got a hydration problem. What are you, pissing your pants constantly? Is that the problem? You just constantly pissing your pants?
So anyways, Mary, and Mary's the great mother, right? That she's the mother. That's what Mary is.
Yeah, by no standards do we know that she's a great mother. I mean, she gave birth in a manger, for fuck's sake. She didn't give a shit about taking care of lots of the little niceties there. So how do we know she was a great mother? She have really great tasting, breast milk?
Existed or not is not the point. She exists.
Oh, if whether my fable has anything to do with reality or not doesn't matter because it's a fable.
At least as a hyper reality. She exists.
A hyper. She exists as a hyper reality. For who? For stupid people. For stupid people who worship coliseums and giant shiny things and big shiny crosses and gigantic Marys.
Says the mother. Well, what's the sacrifice of the mother? Well, that's easy. If you're a mother, if you're a mother who's worth her salt.
Oh, so he's going to tell us. Yes. Well, I'll tell you exactly. My definition is going to be exactly the opposite. The mother who's worth her salt is the mother who thought about it beforehand and said, no, that's not a good idea because I don't know how to be creating no human beings. I didn't go to create a human being school and figure out how to do it with any kind of assuredness that I'm going to not fuck it up. And I clearly have a sexual preference for lunatics. So, yes, let's not bother with that.
You offer your son to be destroyed by the world. That's what you do.
Well, that didn't happen. But whatever, fuckhead. I mean, that really didn't happen. It really didn't.
And that's what's going to happen, right? He's going to be born, he's going to suffer, he's going to have...
No, he's not going to do any of this stuff. He's not going to be a leper. No, it's all a big feckin' lie, okay? You can pretend that Jesus did the most suffering on earth, but he didn't. The poor that he said will be with you always because of idiot strategies like yours. Okay, he came to be the Savior and said his response to the accusation that he was a bit duplicitous was, the poor will be with you always, I'm but here a short while. Now, all of us are here but a short while, and most people didn't get to live as long as Jesus. And yet he had the arrogance and cuckery to say something so fucking stupid. I mean, just totally discount the fact. Fuck the facts. Facts have nothing to do with this. Okay, this is about me. Me being Jesus. A special snowflake. I'm the special Jesus snowflake. La 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 la.
His trouble in life, he's going to have his illnesses, he's going to face his...
Well, I don't know. Where was that written in the Bible? Where was Jesus's fetters? It seemed to me the only burden he had was, oh, those stupid fucking lepers are always asking to be cured. Oh, it's like there's an endless supply of fucking lepers. God damn it. I have to listen to all these sob stories. Being the Savior sucks. Those are the whines I heard in the Bible, if there's any. I might have made those up.
Failures and catastrophes, and he's going to die. That's what's going to happen. And if you're awake, you know that, and then you say, well...
You're right. I just, this is so disgusting, talking about being awake, and then the idea of being awake is deny every hard fact of life there is. So any hard facts of life, deny them. Deny evolution, as our origin. Deny the futility of our satisfiability. Deny the unsustainableness of our will to just shit on everything, everywhere. I mean, just deny every fact about selfish human nature and how fucking corrosive it is if it isn't, controlled by lions or genocide or, the natural brutality. If they don't keep us on the mountain, you don't want to let that gorilla loose, so to speak, metaphorically.
Well, perhaps he will live in a way that will justify that. And then you try to have that happen. And that's what makes you worthy of a statue like that.
Oh, geez. So we have to earn the privilege by, let's see, what? Oh, let's play that again. Acknowledging, no, there was nothing acknowledged.
Of his illnesses, he's going to face his failures and catastrophes, and he's going to die. That's what's going to happen. And if you're awake, you know that, and then you say, well, perhaps he will live in a way that will justify that. And then
well, whatever that means. You just said he lived in a way that sucks, and so there'll be some great benefit to come out of his hardship. Now that would be great. That would be my whole point. If he got rid of the poor, instead of saying they'll be with you always, whoa, big win. He cured all cancer forever. Yeah, big win. Stopped leprosy, which he didn't do, but medical science did. Big win. You think the Bible could have just given us the recipe, that, well, leprosy is just a microbe and, you can fix it with antibiotics.
You try to have that happen, and that's what makes you worthy of a statue like that.
So I don't even know what that even means. Have what happen? The Jesus story isn't a success story. It's a colossal story of failure. The people in his name have gone on genocidal murder campaigns for gold. The people in his name have done all kinds of just the Inquisition, all kinds of horrible things to people. It's not a success story. It's a huge story of colossal failure. It's wishful. It's all just talk. You're all used car salesmen. Your religion is a used lemon. And you're sitting there still selling it. You sick fucking creepy little cuck.
But still the sacrifice of the mother.
Mommy. You sacrificed the mommy. The ignorant sluts.
Is it right to bring a baby into this terrible world? Well, every woman asks herself that question. Some say
no, they don't. And if they asked it with any kind of seriousness, just even a glimmer of even, like they're asking it for realsy, no chance. They come up with the answer, oh yeah, perfectly makes sense because I have control and I'm competent as fuck and I'm going to do everything so much better than my mother, and especially with my extra career I'm going to have. I'm going to be such a much better mommy. No chance.
The reasons? Mary answers yes, voluntarily. Mary is the archetype of the woman who...
No, she's not an archetype of anything. No woman is fucking raped by God. That doesn't happen anymore, retard. She's not an archetype for anything. She's completely different than anything, except maybe the single mom, you idiot. So you're sitting here making using a metaphor where the male is completely superfluous. Joseph is irrelevant. We don't need fatherly advice. We don't need fatherly help. He won't even show up on the day you get killed to say, gee, nice try there, boy. No, he's completely useless. You can kill him after he's injected his not seed, his invisible I didn't do it seed. You can just kill him. He's useless. He's superfluous. And this is an asshole thinking men have relevance. And he's using a fable that demonstrates that men are irrelevant. Whoops, Dumbo. Yeah, you got it backwards, asshole. Alright, well, we'll stop here and have some more fun later, maybe. So anyway, big picture wide, the way I'm thinking, I mean, it's also obvious to me, is that the only way to have these conversations is to start with premises. And just say, look, if you can't get some of these basic things right, where we agree, there's no point in having a conversation, retards. I mean, evolution kicks religion's ass. Okay, that one is over. So your religious fables are just stupid stories. And they really don't have anything to do with reality, so why should I have to argue them as anything analogous to our reality? They're not. Oh, fuck. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, the one that just glaringly sticks in my head. Anaconda left a little comment, about how, I'm trying to do this better Gary thing. Trying to be more cucked by, proper language and using little witticisms that don't have skanky cunt in them and, that kind of thing. Obviously I didn't do too well in this video, but, so I've been trying to do that. And so he offers the advice that I should do it for myself. So again, he perverts everything into just, it's like none of this thing we're doing is, there's no recognition that this show isn't for you. That the game isn't your game. That it's a fact that it's a whole big arena of consciousness. and that your welfare isn't factually more significant or important or valuable than the condition of any other brain. That all of the pain is pain, that all of the suffering is suffering, and that it doesn't matter whether it happens in your brain or it happens in some other brain. And that fact means that your life is more than what's in it for me, or how am I doing? And this real story of your life is, how is the box of sentience doing? You're part of it. You count. Jesus' pain counts. But the metaphor doesn't work in the sense there's no gain, because nobody did anything good on earth in Jesus' name. There's just nothing. They're all bad things. They're just fucking arrogant marches of selfish country. They missionary out of selfishness to create groups of people who will be servient to them, to pay them, build cathedrals for them to live in, ivory towers. Anyway. Fuck. Till next time. Savage.